having the truth come out has been freeing because there's nothing to hide anymore. Daystar Television Network, known for its faith-based programs, has attracted millions of viewers with its inspiring sermons. However, whistleblowers have shared troubling information about scandals, greed, and corruption that have been rumored for years. There are serious accusations against Daystar Television Network that have come to light, making it a hot topic once again. These claims hint at possible cover-ups and suggest a past that resembles a soap opera rather than a faith-based organization. Join us as we explore these shocking allegations and discover what whistleblowers are now revealing about Daystar's secrets. Is this the moment of reckoning they never expected? There are claims of hidden issues behind the polished appearance of Daystar's leadership. To understand the recent accusations, we should look back at past controversies. The network faced accusations of financial mismanagement and internal problems, which its leaders strongly denied. Joni Lamb, the co-founder and president of the network, supported their actions. However, unresolved issues tend to resurface. So what really happened? 15 years ago, Marcus Day, the founder of Daystar, was at the center of a big scandal. He had a 7-year affair with an employee of Daystar. This information came to light during a fraud case brought by Jeanette Hawkins, a former marketing director for the network. Her evidence, including emails, was very clear and showed that Marcus was not behaving appropriately. A multi-million-dollar media empire is in trouble due to allegations that government money was used to pay for Marcus's romantic affairs. An email has surfaced that suggests Marcus wanted to make his mistress his wife. In response, Marcus claimed that those who are reporting these issues were trying to extort him for $7 million. Marcus paid $5 million to keep his affair secret, but the police found no evidence of extortion. Some people think this was just a PR move to gain sympathy for him and distract from his actions. In 2010, Joni publicly admitted that her husband's affair started as an emotional connection and turned into something improper. What confused many was how Marcus was able to control the story and maintain support from his congregation. What started as rumors of an affair quickly led to lawsuits, public breakdowns, and even an appearance by Dr. Phil. It all began when Marcus and Joni Lamb, the couple who run Daystar, had to deal with serious accusations of infidelity and attempts to hide it. Marcus spoke on air with Joni beside him and a group of supporters behind them. He described the situation as people trying to exploit their suffering for their own gain. He then said something catchy that could go on a t-shirt. "We are not going to take God's money to avoid being humiliated." But not everyone agreed, especially Hawkins. She said that the whole situation and cover-up had made her very upset. Her claims included not just her own emotional pain, but also that the Lambs had publicly hurt her reputation by acting like they were victims of extortion. In the end, Hawkins resigned and went into mental health treatment. In an attempt to improve their public image and boost ratings, the Lambs appeared on Dr. Phil's daytime TV show. They talked about trying to fix their marriage. Dr. Phil, always the sensible one, advised them not to blame external forces for their problems because sometimes mistakes are just mistakes. While the episode made the Lambs seem more relatable, it didn't really settle the ongoing drama. Daystar is facing a lot of trouble due to several lawsuits from former employees. These lawsuits, filed in federal and Dallas courts, make serious accusations about workplace misconduct and ethical issues. Now Daystar is also being criticized for possible financial mismanagement. It looks like problems keep coming back, especially when there are cameras involved. The new scandal when it comes to drama, reality TV has nothing on the Lamb family. Saga Jonathan Lamb, former vice president of Daystar TV, and his wife Susie have dropped some jaw-dropping allegations against Jonathan's mother, Joni Lamb, and the late Marcus Lamb's Christian broadcasting empire. The scandal centers on a horrifying incident involving the Lamb's 5-year-old daughter and a Daystar employee identified only as Pete, who also happens to be a family member according to Jonathan the Nightmare. In August 2021, During a company retreat in Florida, Susie saw Pete following their daughter upstairs as she was getting ready for a swim. Jonathan quickly ran to the room and found their daughter undressed, with Pete standing nearby in a strange way. Jonathan shouted at him, asking what he was doing, while Pete nervously kept saying he was sorry, like a child caught taking cookies. Susie said Pete looked blank and had a lifeless expression. If that doesn't scare you, nothing will. But it gets even more complicated. Instead of telling the authorities about the incident, Jonathan and Susie claim that Joni Lamb and her late husband Marcus tried to hide it to keep Pete and Daystar looking good. According to Susie, Joni even defended Pete's actions by saying he loved the child and just wanted to spend time with them. But that's not the kind of love anyone wanted. When the Lambs tried to, people are worried and want answers. Reports say that situations have gotten worse. They say they were fired and treated unfairly because they spoke out about their daughter's suspected abuse and disagreed with Joan's quick marriage to Doug White less than 2 years after Marcus died. Dayar denies these claims. The network says Jonathan is trying to damage their reputation because he didn't become the leader of Dayar after Marcus's death. His firing came after a 15-month review of his work. So who is telling the truth? Is this a case of someone bravely speaking out, or just someone being bitter about being let go? What do you think? Are they looking for the truth, or just causing trouble? Joni Lamb is in the spotlight because of recent scandal. In a recent episode of Joni TPL Talk, she responded to claims that she ignored reports of sexual abuse, saying it was simply not true. This is just a story from a low-level blogger who doesn't know the whole truth and is trying to hurt my family. Lamb said that it was clear she was not being subtle that day. Critics say this isn't the first time Joan has tried to avoid blame. Former associates claim she usually responds to accusations by minimizing them, then acting very offended. For example, there was one time when she warned someone. Susie is upset with a family member for hanging out with a rebellious couple and called it a Jezebel spirit. Joni told Susie she has a teachable heart and should listen because it strengthens family ties to label people negatively. Jonathan mentioned that he and his wife started feeling uneasy around some family members because of their odd jokes. He shared examples of comments that shocked them. To give context, Jonathan and his wife were feeling very happy at the time. Funny, but this wasn't just a one-time thing. The same family members seemed to enjoy strange jokes, like making jokes about torture with piranhas. Nothing brings a family together like imagining someone getting eaten by fish. Another time, this family member jokingly told a telemarketer, "I'll be right back, but only after I finish with a goat." By now, Jonathan and his wife were seriously wondering if this person should be around. If someone finds humor in strange topics like abortions, piranhas, and goats, you might wonder what else they could say or do. Jonathan talked to Joni about these issues, hoping for some understanding or comfort. Instead, her response was just as confusing as the jokes. Some Christians have unique senses of humor, and while humor is personal, it's true that some people enjoy puns, while others like more serious jokes. Not many people like slapstick humor. Jonathan and his wife weren't just facing silly dad jokes, they were dealing with comments that made them really uncomfortable. To be fair, Joan's response wasn't completely off base. People have different tastes in humor. But when a joke suggests illegal things or talks about something as disturbing as bestiality, it stops being funny. It becomes a question of limits and whether someone should be allowed to speak freely, especially with a microphone or around children. Jonathan and his wife were left feeling uneasy, feeling ignored and uneasy while trying to protect their child and dealing with family issues. It's hard to tell someone that their jokes aren't just not funny but actually kind of concerning. And what can you say when someone dismisses your worries with a shrug and a vague remark about humor being a matter of opinion? About the latest drama with Joni and Jonathan? Did you hear about the strange voicemail Joni shared? She claims it's very important. If God is involved in family issues, we should reconsider what matters most to us. Here's the scoop. All the kids are being called rebellious because they didn't want to read an email celebrating Doug and Joan's marriage. Before you dismiss their protest as silly, remember that the kids were upset about the marriage because they saw it as wrong. So, being asked to read an email praising it didn't sit well with them. The marriage didn't feel right to them, but things took a turn when one child asked for a day to pray about it. Instead of a supportive response, they were told to follow the rules or risk losing their job. It's surprising that family disagreements have become so intense. Some people are saying that if Marcus Lamb were still around, none of this would have happened. We can't be sure if that's true, but it's clear that this situation didn't just suddenly appear. Recent reports indicate worries about inappropriate behavior in the family and child safety issues. Joni Lamb's reaction has been more defensive than accepting responsibility. Another family member shared strange experiences with a chiropractor who did not follow professional guidelines. The story starts simply with this family member joining Dayar. From 2015 to 2021, a person worked somewhere and noticed that the chiropractor often treated family members and employees in a casual setting called the green room. At first, this seemed harmless. However, a wise friend named Joni suggested that when the chiropractor worked on young women or a husband or another family member to be there. This was smart advice, but looking back, it also raised concerns. Taking her advice seriously, a family member decided to be there during his wife's treatments. At first, everything seemed fine, but soon, the chiropractor started getting annoyed with the husband being there. Things got worse when he made inappropriate comments about the wife's body while the husband was present. But he didn't stop there. He also texted the husband to invite him and his wife over for dinner and a swim afterward, reminding him to tell his wife to dress a certain way, handle swimsuits well. The couple started to get worried and told Joni about some troubling events. This was all happening before Susie's abuse allegations were known. The situation was already concerning, and things only got worse. Despite their worries, the chiropractor kept behaving inappropriately, making comments about people's bodies even when their partners were there. This behavior is not just unprofessional, it's completely wrong. Peace and truth create a better story than lies and deceit. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Before you go, check out the next video that appears on your screen.